Welcome back, focused learners. Have you ever actually stopped to wonder what it literally took for you to be sitting right where you are today? I'm talking about the absolute ultimate origins of your existence, that crazy chain reaction that started billions of years before you even took your first breath. Okay, let's dive into this explainer. Today, we're going on a totally epic, awe-inspiring journey through time, tracing the history of everything, from the Big Bang all the way up to biological complexity. 13 billion, 800 million. It's just a staggering number, right? Almost unimaginable. But that is the actual scale of our universe's history in years. When we talk about our origins, we're talking about a continuous, unbroken story that spans 13.8 billion years. It's this immense stretch of time where literally every single millisecond contributed to the exact reality we share right now. Which, of course, naturally brings us to the most fundamental question we can possibly ask. How did we get here? How did an initial state of just unimaginable heat and density eventually transform into the incredibly complex, breathing, thinking reality that we experience every single day? Every single cosmic event over all those billions of years formed a totally necessary, unbreakable chain that led directly to your exact existence today. Let's move to and see how this builds. Here's how that timeline actually unfolds. 13.8 billion years ago, boom, the Big Bang. Fast forward to 4.5 billion years ago, the Earth finally forms. And then by 3.5 billion years ago, the very first life appears. Part 1, the cosmic dawn, the birth of everything. So it all starts right here. The Big Bang initiated our entire 13.8 billion-year-old universe. But, and this is crucial, this wasn't just an explosion in space. It was an explosion of space itself. In a mere fraction of a second, the universe expanded from a point smaller than a single atom to absolute cosmic proportions. It literally brought space and time into existence. It was this impossibly expansive event characterized by blistering heat and just unfathomable density. Everything we know, every single particle of matter, every drop of energy was born in that one furious moment, expanding outward to eventually cool down and create the vast cosmos we observe today. Part 2, forging the elements, the stellar factories. In that chaotic early universe, the cosmos would have honestly just remained this cold, scattered, formless mist of particles, if not for one invisible sculptor, gravity. Gravity is the fundamental force that gradually gathered all that early scattered matter over immense stretches of time. It just relentlessly pulled these vast clouds of gas and dust together, eventually compressing them with such massive force that they ignited. And that is what created the brilliant burning furnaces of the very first stars, and ultimately formed the massive swirling galaxies that populate our night sky. And inside those newly formed stars, a kind of cosmic alchemy was taking place. The intense heat and pressure basically acted as a giant, violent forge, creating heavier atoms like carbon, oxygen, and iron. Now, really think about this for a second. The iron coursing through your blood right now, and the oxygen filling your lungs as you breathe in, those exact elements were literally manufactured inside the fiery cores of ancient stars that exploded long before our planet even existed. You are, quite fundamentally, made of stardust. How cool is that? Part 3, the origins of life. The watery cradle. 4.5 billion years ago, out of this chaotic, violently swirling disk of cosmic debris and toxic gas orbiting our young sun, our specific home, Earth, finally cooled and formed. The sheer violence of those early planetary collisions eventually gave way to a stabilizing, rocky surface, and that set the stage for something truly remarkable to happen. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that sometime between 3.5 and 3.9 billion years ago, a massive leap occurred. Simple, inanimate chemistry actually sparked into the very first self-replicating molecules. Against all odds, non-living chemicals somehow arranged themselves under just the right conditions to begin making copies of themselves. It was this crucial spark that bridged the gap from a barren, rocky world to one that was suddenly teeming with biological potential. But where did this incredible chemical jump actually take place? Well, the evidence strongly points to water-rich environments. We're talking about the vast ancient oceans, or perhaps deep, deep down at pitch-black hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor. Down there, crushing pressures and superheated mineral water provided this perfect, albeit unlikely, cradle for biology. In these extreme volatile conditions, just the right temperature and a rich chemical soup allowed those first fragile molecules to appear, thrive, and officially kickstart the story of life. Part 4. The path of evolution. The biological ladder. Okay, so once life sparked, it was driven forward by an absolutely relentless engine, natural selection. And guys, this isn't just dry biology. It is the ultimate epic survival story. For billions of years, our ancient ancestors were constantly battling against shifting climates, fierce predators, and seemingly insurmountable odds. Natural selection is the biological process that drove those very first fragile life forms to adapt, survive, and evolve. Basically, only those best suited to their wildly unpredictable environments survived long enough to pass on their traits to the next generation. And this brilliantly illustrates just how staggering the magnitude of this evolutionary journey really is. I mean, we transition from simple, microscopic molecules just clinging to existence in the deep sea dark, all the way to highly complex, vibrant organisms actively conquering dry land. It's an unimaginable transformation, really, evolving from a raw chemical soup into the dynamic, sprawling ecosystems that eventually covered the entire globe. This incredible biological ladder maps out millions upon millions of years of struggle and triumph. Starting with the true pioneers, single cells, natural selection guided life over immense stretches of time toward much more complex organisms. Then came that monumental, truly daring shift from the oceans onto dry land, which opened up entirely new worlds. And as the environment continued to push boundaries, we saw the rise of warm-blooded mammals, which eventually, finally, led to us, humans. Every single phase here represents just an incredible story of adaptation and survival against all odds. Part 5. The human chapter. You are here. So the crucial point is this. Your life is not an isolated event. It is literally the very tip of an unbroken 13.8 billion year chain of events that led directly to you. From the explosive birth of the universe, to the stars that forged the heavy atoms in your body, to the extreme deep ocean vents that cradled the very first cells, right up to the countless generations of creatures that fought to survive on land. Every single phase of this incredible history was absolutely necessary for you to be sitting here today watching this explainer. Looking at the whole picture like this just leaves you with a sense of profound wonder, doesn't it? But, it also begs a final, deeply fascinating question. After 13.8 billion years of constant change, chemical growth, and biological evolution, what comes next? Where does the universe, and where do we as humans go from here? Thank you so much for joining me to explore this incredible journey. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you in our next explainer.